I mean, they asked him a question today, and I'm sure if you're of the type of person who just always hates the one team and loves what the other one does, they asked him a question about the crash. They said, will you visit the crash site? Now, every other politician would go, of course, it was a tragedy. And he went, it's the water.
And they don't have anything to hold you with, nothing to make you think about what they have to say. They talk at you, not to you.
Bill Maher is back in the headlines, this time taking direct aim at the hosts of The View. Known for his no-nonsense commentary, Maher didn't hold back after catching what he calls another woke misfire on their live broadcast. Spotting what he believes to be a fresh batch of contradictions, the comedian fired off with trademark precision, cutting through the chatter with pointed critique. His commentary sharp, his message unfiltered. And yes, we got all the clips to walk you through every heated moment. Buckle up, this one's got twists, turns, and more than a few raised eyebrows. And hey, if you're into unapologetic truth and sharp analysis, don't forget to hit that subscribe button. More bold perspectives are just a click away.
Well, I had a different question, but it struck me that in the first segment you used the term woke, and you said that woke is what was sort of ruining everything. And I know that you're...
No, I didn't say ruining everything. I said that's why Trump could get reelected.
That's why Trump could get reelected.
And this, some argue, is exactly how Donald Trump could find his way back into the Oval Office. The cycle is familiar. Take someone's words, twist them beyond recognition, ignore the actual meaning, and stir up outrage, all in the name of so-called progress. It's less about truth and more about controlling the narrative. Trump has seen this playbook used against him time and time again, every quote turned inside out, every headline loaded with spin, painting him as a cartoonish villain. It's become automatic, almost a reflex. So when Bill Maher entered that same arena, the reaction was no different. The same tactics were deployed to distort, provoke, and aim for that viral gotcha moment. But Maher wasn't having it. He pushed back hard and fast, calmly dismantling the spin before it had a chance to take hold. His response was sharp, focused, and impossible to ignore. You could feel the shift. When someone steps out of the echo chamber, it sends a shockwave. And Maher, he didn't flinch. He stood firm, and in doing so, shook the room.
Woke is a word used by the Black community to note that we must be aware of social injustices.
But words
and
migrate.
So why is that a bad thing?
It's not a bad thing, and originally that was absolutely a great thing. Alert to injustice, who's not for that? But words do migrate. Now, I'll use any term you want.
Okay.
Because maybe that is a word that's triggering, and so let's not use that word. I don't know, want to call it the super far left?
Sunny Hostin came ready for battle, but the moment she opened her mouth, the cracks started to show. She tried to frame Bill Maher as some kind of anti-woke antagonist, but her confidence faltered. You could see at the nervous glance, the hand to her forehead, the subtle pause before she delivered her line. It felt less like a takedown and more like walking straight into quicksand. Her opening shot the usual argument that conservatives have distorted the meaning of woke and weaponized it against social progress. But Maher wasn't rattled. Calm, collected, and razor-sharp, he didn't take the bait. Instead, he flipped the script. Maher pointed out that the right didn't have to hijack the term. Progressives had already done the damage themselves. He laid it out clearly when the left started obsessing over language, canceling people for small missteps, and letting identity politics dominate the conversation. They made woke an easy target. And Maher, he didn't just push back, he ignited the whole debate. With facts in hand and his signature clarity, he exposed the internal contradictions that many had been too afraid to call out. Sensing the narrative slipping, the panel went for backup. That's when Whoopi Goldberg stepped in, an icon in the progressive camp and a go-to voice when things start getting uncomfortable. But by then, the mood had shifted. Maher had already changed the energy in the room.
How dare you be so flippant, man? Listen, nobody on the planet really wants to go through this. This is not something we're doing because it's, sexually gratifying. This is what we're doing to protect our families. And you don't have to do it, but stay away from everybody. Because if you're the one who's not paying attention and you're coughing and sneezing, you don't want to, then stay out of the public, man. This is not, nobody wants this.
Whoopi Goldberg came out swinging, fiery, fierce, and ready for battle. Her target, Bill Maher, for daring to challenge the sacred ground of The View. With all the dramatic flair she could muster, she launched into a full-throttle takedown, accusing Maher of being flippant, dismissive, and disrespectful. Its offense choosing facts over feelings. To Whoopi, Maher's refusal to echo the progressive playbook wasn't just disagreement, it was personal. But Maher didn't flinch. He's weathered 2 main rounds in the culture wars to be shaken by a televised showdown. While Goldberg tried to paint him as out of touch or even heartless, Maher held his ground, cool, calm, and anchored in reason. He pointed to a growing problem, the prioritization of emotion over truth, and how that shift is fracturing public dialogue instead of healing it. Tension in the studio was thick, you could feel it. But Maher didn't need theatrics. He didn't raise his voice. He didn't trade jabs. He let the facts speak for themselves. And in a twist that felt almost poetic, Whoopi would later face suspension from The View after controversial remarks claiming the Holocaust wasn't about race, sparking a firestorm of criticism and reflection. In the end, Maher didn't just hold the line, he let the truth do the talking.
This morning, more fallout for Whoopi Goldberg. ABC News suspending Goldberg from The View for 2 weeks after she made controversial comments about Jewish people and the Holocaust on Monday's episode.
The Holocaust isn't about race. It's not about race.
What is it about?
Because it's about man's inhumanity to man.
Her comments sparked a wildfire outrage erupted instantly across social media and major news outlets. The backlash was swift and intense, forcing the network to respond. Whoopi was suspended for 2 weeks, a decision that shook daytime television. To Maher's fans, it seemed like karma. Her sudden attack on him was met with consequences just days later. The timing almost too perfect, but instead of gloating, Maher chose a different path. He publicly called for Whoopi's return, reminding everyone that free speech matters most when it's uncomfortable. Its response was bold and gracious, highlighting a stark contrast. While The View leaned into cancel culture, Maher stood firm on principle. In an age of viral outrage and quick takedowns, Maher's move proved that integrity still holds weight more than just a momentary
Stop
win.
saying that Whoopi Goldberg getting yanked from The View right after she attacked me on The View is karma. There's no such thing as karma. Sorry. Sorry, but life is random. The only word to describe it when a big game hunter gets trampled by an elephant and then eaten by lions is hilarious.
Behind his calm demeanor, Maher had to be secretly amused. The irony was just too rich to ignore. The so-called hunter had become the hunted. Whoopi, who walked into the exchange believing she had all the power, ended up creating a mess of her own making. It wasn't just a slip-up, it was a complete self-destruction. She got crushed by her own words, steamrolled by her own arrogance, and metaphorically eaten alive by the outrage she helped stoke, all because she thought taking a jab at Maher would be a smart move. He didn't even need to lift a finger. Her downfall was self-inflicted, served up on a silver platter of contradiction and smugness. While Maher kept his public composure, he was smiling backstage. When you build your reputation on outrage and target people for speaking uncomfortable truths, eventually that same outrage comes back at you, and this time it came from her.
When they don't have anything to hold you with, nothing to make you think about what they have to say, they talk at you, not to you.
True to form, Whoopi fired back at Maher with the fiery defiance that has become her trademark. You'd think that after Maher's rare public show of support, graciously calling for her return and choosing not to kick her while she was down, she might pause before taking another shot at him. But not Whoopi. She didn't hesitate. If anything, she came back harder. Because if there's one thing Whoopi Goldberg has mastered, it's biting the hand that reaches out to help. Gratitude for her is practically non-existent. Instead of acknowledging Maher's calm and level-headed response, she treated it as an open invitation to escalate the conflict. She dismissed his defense as if it never happened and doubled down on the feud, reminding everyone that humility isn't just foreign to some, it's something they actively avoid. It was yet another stark reminder that for certain media figures, loyalty to the narrative far outweighs reason, facts, and even basic decency.
Before we go, I want to say...
No, we're not going anywhere yet.
Okay, but I just want to say one thing, as we were talking in the break.
Yeah.
Joy is a wonderful human being, and she should not be afraid that people are going to attack her because she said the thing about the swastika on the cap. She does not think that as you said to me in the break, you do not think that all the people are for Trump or not.
No, I don't.
You don't.
I just want them to pay attention to words like vermin and poisoning the blood and the Third Reich. That's all. That's really what I'm asking.
Bill Maher took a direct shot at Joy Behar, urging her to stand firm and not shrink in the face of the ever-present woke mob. It was a subtle yet powerful moment, one that unveiled a larger truth about the performative nature of The View's dynamic. By encouraging Behar to stick to her guns, Maher highlighted an uncomfortable reality. Many of these women know how extreme or inconsistent the mob's views can be, yet they still go along with them to avoid backlash. That's where Maher struck a nerve. By calling Behar out directly, he exposed the facade and showed how often the hosts of The View align with woke orthodoxy, even when it contradicts their own logic or past beliefs. It's fear masked as virtue, and Maher had no hesitation in calling it exactly what it is.